Good day, everyone. I am Mary Depana, and for today, I'm going to discuss ethnicentrism and relativism. Let's start first with ethnicentrism. So, ethnocentrism is a term applied to the cultural or ethnic bias. So, it is also judging other culture by values and standards. So, by definition, it is judging other culture based on the preconceptions originating the standards and customs of one culture. So it involves our conscious and our unconscious mind. So for our conscious mind, we are aware that okay, that's your culture, you don't have to judge them. And for our unconscious mind, so we tend to judge others is because we don't know what their culture is and we tend to laugh at them. It's because it sounds funny when we hear something which different from ours. So individuals judge other groups, so relative to their own ethnic group or culture. So as what I have said a while ago, so since it has a different perspective in terms of culture, so other tends to judge other people, it's because of their differences. I have here an example with the use of chopsticks with every meal. So as this is very evident, especially in the Asian countries like Korea, Japan, Chinese people, and even Thailand, mostly Asian. So they use chopsticks during their meal. It's because they're part of their lives that they use chopsticks with every meal, especially when they eat noodles. So why they use chopsticks when they can use spoons? So in that way, it shows that it has the ethnocentrism here. So judging other culture by differentiating from ours to them. Next is the language. So language, so it is another instances here is when someone arrive from her place, especially here in Cebu City. When we go far from the city, the accent or the pronunciation of their words change according to their places. So when we go to like Alcoy, Bonoon, or Oslo, though we speak the same languages, but it has a different pronunciation. So since we are not aware, although we are aware, but it sounds funny when we hear something that has a different tone that different from ours. And moving on to the ethnocentric and the study of anthropology. So people born in a particular culture. So we all grow up absorbing the values, behaviors in which the world views it considers their culture to be norm. So growing up in our particular place, we all have our different types of culture and traditions in which tends to be our norm. So a norm in which we follow certain standards. So cultural relativism was a principle on individual person's belief and activities. So it should be understood by others in terms of the individual's own culture. So for the cultural relativism, it's different from ethnocentrism. It's because here in the cultural relativism, we have to understand, we have to respect other culture with their differences. So we have differences, so instead of judging them, we have to embrace them. We have to give them respect. It's because it's their tradition, it's their culture, it's their values in which it serves as their identity. So it was established by an analytic tool by German-American anthropologist Franz Boa in the early 20th century. So cultural relativism, it is a view that all beliefs, customs, and ethics are relative to the individual within his own social context. So if you belong in this certain group, so you'll be expected that you will act the usual way that the community or the society's works, or that society behave. So there is no objective standard that can be used to judge one societal code better than others. So the moral code of our own society has no special status. So it is merely one among many. So we all have we live in a diverse world in which we have all our different perspective, different values, different culture, different behavior. So it is one way to take them is to respect them, respect our differences, and show them that despite the differences, there's nothing wrong with them. I have here an example, the food choices. So here, in the left side, it is a Filipino type of dish or meal in which in every meal, rice is always present in every type of meal that we eat. So in the second picture, it is a picture showing a meal with no rice. So it represents that this is a American type of meal in which they have no rice. So we have to respect them. So we can see here that we can differentiate here that the Filipinos usually has or have the rice during their meal, and so the American type of meal they don't have a rice. So another example here is in the left side. It shows a Filipino trait in which we use to bless or mano, which shows respect to our elders. So the second picture is the hand gestures, in which it serves as that shaking hands as a way of showing agreement. So another example here is the clothing. So the clothing here in the Philippines as a national clothing is the Barot Saya at Barong Tagalog, and while in the American they always wear a American suit in which it is a formal type of clothing wherever they go. And this ends my presentation. Thank you for listening and have a good day.